Welcome everybody to episode 127 of the Lookout Podcast.
127. Wow.
We are still on this island.
We are.
I feel like
is this the longest we've been on the island? It's maybe not.
No, I mean we've been on here later, but definitely we started earlier.
Yeah.
We started at the beginning of June.
That's true.
It is now the end of July. We still have 2 series left after this. Both which are quite, the undertaking, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Podcast. But nonetheless, how have you been, man? Listen, how has this post-Spy Family world been treating you?
A little weird. I find myself doing things I didn't think I would do. Like I said, I wouldn't turn on like random episodes of Dragon Ball Z, but I ended up doing it anyways.
Everyone, I don't know why you're fighting. I don't know why you're fighting it. Like
I don't know. Honestly, like it's one of those things where at this point there's so many streaming services, bruh. Like I don't even know what's what. So I'll be on it, and if I see something, like I'll turn it on. I mean, anime wise. So I don't know. I'm really want to like tap into some other things I've just never seen before, but it's also very hard. Like manga's kind of good right now to me. So
anime, there's nothing wrong with a good comfort anime, bro. There's nothing wrong with you can just have it running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's to me, like I can just have it running. I'll be on TikTok or doing something else, and I can just have it running in the background. I had what we're going to talk about today. I had that one running on in the background today.
Yeah, it's an easy watch. Like
it's
maybe
so
one of the easiest watches I've seen. Like as far as and it's sometimes I'll be real. Like watching what we're about to talk about, like with Mob Psycho, is like I don't even view it as if I'm watching an anime. I guess it's kind of weird to say. It almost feels like Saturday morning cartoons sometimes watching this shit.
You taking the words right
It's
out.
It's a very weird feeling to describe watching it, but that's just the vibe I get. So
they still have not. I mean, I'm sure by the time, let's see, when's today? Today is this day. Actually, by the time this comes out, we may have a date for Chainsaw Man, but we may not. But,
we never know.
You never know.
Manga's popping though right now.
Manga's popping. Chainsaw Man is back though.
Yeah. We love it.
How have you felt about that? How have you felt about it? I like when
I love it. Yeah.
I like when a new part or a new saga or something happens and we're like given a taste of a completely different character.
Yeah, that's what we need. And this past chapter kind of gives us a little, hint of where it's going. So that's really dope. But yeah, I love it. I love it. The designs have been crazy, by the way. Like these 3 characters that they've really introduced.
I'm looking forward to it now. Anticipation. We have different stories. We have a lot of different things. I like that introduction, especially. I mean, they did it with Attack on Titan season 4 too, where they like first 5 episodes of season 4 is just introducing you to a set of new characters.
Yeah.
Gives perspective to your original cast, to be honest with you, and it's doing really, really good. So I'm excited for that.
In a good space.
I saw this discussion on the Twitter. It's a discussion that we've had before, but I just kind of want to make this a PSA, a public announcement. The dub is okay, ladies. This is my public service announcement on this episode of the podcast.
Oh man,
are fine.
Have we not gotten out of that yet?
Yeah, I believe so. To be honest,
it was this weird during the. For the people that were there was this huge rise in anime when streaming was like really popping, pandemic, that type of stuff, and I feel like those people who came back only watch the sub because it's original, and like those people were still there and they existed to an extent where I get just liking sub, but hating on dub is a whole nother level of like wild random like stuff you can do,
and it's so not necessary.
It's not. It's really not.
There are great dubs out there.
A lot.
There are dubs out there, but there are great dub. We're about to talk about a great dub because I think Mob Psycho's dub is incredible, and they managed to get to figure out the intricate humor of this show. I would love to interview the ADR director
for real.
I'm it up, and we're gonna talk about this.
Had to be a blast, bro.
especially considering season 3 is coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about.
Yeah, had to be a blast.
But there's some great dubs out there, and I don't see why I understand subs, original, sometimes the emotion stuff. I can relate with watching. Let's say we watched Attack on Titan sub, and we watched the scene where Aaron's dad, Grisha Yeager, was wilding out, and he was having that scene, and he was losing his mind because he was seeing the past and the present all in thing, and he couldn't, he was seeing the memories from the future and seeing the memories from the past, and all this other. And I thought that was a great performance by the original Japanese actor.
Absolutely, a lot of energy.
It was a lot to live up for the dub, but I think the dub did it. It did it fine, but I don't think we need to have. I think we're too. Especially considering how a lot of kids grew up. I knew you grew up with the dub.
Yeah, just naturally. It's okay. And that's all we had. And that's my thing. I don't know. Some of these people who be complaining about it be 21, 22, 20. I'm like, look, bruh. When this shit was really happening, when you were just like coming out the womb, like that's all we had. It's not like I was reading subtitles, bruh, at 8 years old. There was no way I was like at all.
Reading subtitles at 28 years old.
Yeah, bruh.
Is with you?
Sometimes I want to eat and like look down at my bowl while I'm, I can't read at the same time. So, I turn a dub on, enjoy it. It's really fun. And a lot of times you're promoting like American voice actors doing that too and making sure they get paid properly. So, yeah, got to support
the dub. We're pro dub here.
We are.
We are looking forward to a bunch of things coming out. New Dragon Ball movies coming out pretty soon. Watch the dub.
Yeah.
A lot of new animes.
My Hero on the way.
My Hero's on the way. October 1st.
Yeah.
10-1.
That's right.
Yo, we coming up with all anime. We all first day.
Straight up.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I think hopefully Spy Family and a bunch of other things will be back at the time and be able to indulge within that. But I just wanted to make that PSA.
Yeah, it's okay. And man, if you like dub, like say that shit too, bro. Like, don't be afraid. It don't matter. Shit's all good, really.
And don't if you like the sub, don't try to belittle people for liking the dub.
Yeah,
that's what happened in my first foray in anime. Like I was watching the Hunter x Hunter dub.
Yeah,
and one of my this was a student that walked in, and a student walked in and was like, "Oh, you're watching the dub?"
Yeah,
and I was
which is funny to say because I actually think the dub for Hunter x Hunter is pretty good. So I don't understand, but
I'm trying to think because these police sirens is all out here. I don't know what they
popping some real shit going on.
I mean, it's in the middle of the afternoon, so and I'm highly, concerned about what could be going on that could elicit such. But here we are, New York City. This is never going to change on the podcast. We're still Summer at Comet House, and we are now going to get into Mob Psycho 100. I want to play a little audio of it, if you don't mind, my friend.
Please do.
To get people in the mood. And Mob Psycho 100.
All this confidence in yourself.
What a stupid question. It's my psychic powers, of course. I can control the destiny and movement of everything around me. And you are my first enemy. Now attack me! Let's have a test of strength!
No way.
Why not? I told you it's okay. Come at me.
Because I don't want to hurt you. That's why.
Huh? Are you kidding? That's absurd. It's not like I'm some average Joe you're dealing with here. I'm on a different level than the rest of the lowly creatures on this planet.
Just because you're able to use psychic powers, you're no better than...
What did you say?
I mean, you're kind of going overboard here.
Think so? Well, you're the only person who can make that argument. That's why your very existence pisses me off.
Hold on. That's it. I think I just realized why you hate me so much. It's because you and I are the same. And not because we both have psychic powers. But the fact that you have no confidence in yourself. Same way that I don't. If you take away your abilities, there'll be nothing left. You'll be empty. You're scared of that realization. No friends. No stand. Just another loser who won't leave a mark in this world. That's me. Don't you see? Deep down, you're the same as I am. You just don't want to admit that you're nothing without your psychic power.
No! Quit dreaming, idiot! The two of us are completely different, understand me?
We're the same. From my perspective, you're just an average person.
Shut up!
He's not using his powers.
All right, I'm gonna cut it off there.
Hey,
But
man. You heard that?
did I?
You don't even have to visually watch that to be interested in what the fuck was going on. Like, that was really great.
The life lessons that this show has taught me is just different. Yo, there's a lot of police activity out here. Like, what's going on?
I don't know.
The streets, man. New York City.
The streets.
The streets, man. I'm gonna wait for them to pass by, or maybe.
Damn.
I was by. It looked like they stopped, nigga.
Yeah, for real. They outside, bro.
They outside. Okay. All right. So boom. Mob Psycho 100 series that began, actually, the manga started 10 years ago. So it's April 2012. It was eventually adapted into an anime in 2016 by Studio Bones, who has done My Hero Academia, done Full Metal
Hunter
Alchemist
Hunter.
Brother, Soul Eater, Hunter x Hunter, a bunch of other things like that. But this is a different. This is, if you told me anything involved with those animes and made that, been like, what?
Yeah,
That's kind of. And originally a webcomic, it now gets its anime adaptation. It is, to be honest with you, we put it on this list because to me, this is always a treat to revisit.
Yeah, and some could say we maybe should have did it some time ago. I think it's that underrated. And I'm going to use the word underrated when talking about this, because if you ask somebody on the street what their favorite anime, is, and they're into it, I'm not going to say they're not going to list this. I just think that the ones that pop up in your head originally is not necessarily Mob Psycho 100, although its fan base is large. But I still just feel like it's underrated because it's just not talked about as much. And it was just important for us to, I think when we were going over what we were going to do, that once we both said this, it was like, yeah, it's time. Plus with season 3 on, around the corner, it only made sense.
It's a super understated series.
Yes.
It is a super kind of overlooked. People may not have seen it, but if you have, it's like a treat to kind of get through. Mob Psycho 100 to me. All right. So what's your, let's start on this kind of ground basis, because we both enjoy this.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Mob Psycho 100? What's your favorite thing about this series?
I think because of it being an anime, it's so easy on the eyes because it looks like nothing else at all. And I love how I mean, if you look at the manga pages and the panels and you look at the anime, it's almost as if they just colored in the manga. And I know it sounds weird, but the style is so refreshing and unique to me that it just works. And it has this seriousness of powerful situations that turn into comedy in 10 seconds. Real funny stuff that actually matters within the context of the story based off character development. And I just feel like stuff like that is so important because it gets overlooked. We overlook that stuff so much because there's a lot of OP situations in this series, but they're so it's unserious, and I enjoy it because of it.
Yeah, they're presented with a bit of levity as well.
Yeah.
Which makes this incredibly different. And I'll say the one thing I like about Mob Psycho 100 is that it just feels good. I think that's the most important thing to me. When I watch it, I don't feel like it's not something where I feel like I have intensely to pay attention to.
Right.
But you can, because there are definitely some themes and some concept and stuff that are introduced that are definitely, I wouldn't say necessarily heavy, but they deal with a lot of things that we're dealing with, like anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like you can take this it's like they took a slice of life anime and just decided of okay, to have powers.
Yeah, let's give it a nice overworld and abilities and
this thing, man,
yeah.
we're gonna, but the story of Mob, who's the main character, the protagonist, and all this other things, and kind of, it's the story of him understanding and developing his psychic power, and kind of like how he's one of the most powerful espers, but it's like an emotional journey a little bit of like trying to understand how to use this power but not really try to harm people with it.
Yeah.
I think that presented his anxiety throughout the majority of the series, which is why he never really, I mean, it took situations like the one we just listened to where he's being choked out by a half bald guy
Mm-hmm.
in a school lab to really introduce, and it's the first time that you truly hit, well, I don't know if it's the first time, but it's one of the times he hits that 100 mark and his power he unleashes, and he sends an entire school building up into the sky and demolishes it.
It's crazy because the times that it does happen, it's always, I love how it's always an emotional mark. Like it's not necessarily based on I need to reach this power to defeat someone. It's done off pure like emotion and because it just has to happen, which is really unique.
But he's also not trying to. There's a lot of it where it even feels sometimes he's ashamed of his own power because he. I mean, there is a situation. I mean, they do a flashback of a situation with his brother Ritsu, and how he was getting beat up by bullies, and Ritsu was also there, and then it came to a situation where he used his power, harmed a lot of people, and since then he does not want to use his power. But I think just overall, I mean, like his growth through the show, he never overcomes it. He never really overcomes any of his enemies with like new fighting techniques or like them or anything. He just kind of learns to, understand his emotions, his perspective of others, and you realize throughout this entire thing, like for the most part, every enemy that he faces ends up becoming a good person.
Yeah, they're all misunderstood. You can tell they all have some type of like complex with their abilities. Like even if they know that they're very powerful and
which we just saw,
whether they're bullies, whether they're self-conscious, whether they're so egotistical or in their own head, when something bad happens, like hair being cut off, you lose your fucking mind, So they all have these complexes with their own individual strengths. And that doesn't really happen often, especially like in like the shonen shit that we're generally into. It's mostly like, I gotta get more powerful and no matter what, even if I kill myself, you know what I mean? Like that's like usually what we're so used to. And this one gives you it adds some like humanity to it, I guess you can say. Like, there's still a lot of like emotion, and they show their age group a good bit because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the animation for the show a little bit more.
Which makes it so special.
It really does make it special. It makes it one of a kind because it's the first thing that kind of drew it to me about how kind of like at some points compared to regular anime, it's like crudely drawn.
Yeah.
And I was looking for some interviews with the director of this to kind of like, and there was definitely talks. So he expresses there were definitely talks about like, oh, should we make Mob cuter? Like kind of like, the eyes that like most anime protagonists has, where they can kind of like shine it up a little bit, and they can do something like, for instance, like Deku's eyes or something. It's like it's a little cute, it's kind of like regular shonen just to make it more accessible to people, but they kind of like, okay, let's stick to the original kind of like feel of the show, and let's make him just as lame or just as like tame or tepid as he is in the actual series itself.
I'm telling you, it looks like they just colored in the manga pages. Like it's the exact same. Like they didn't really, and in that way it works. I think it is a bit gritty and kind of, I don't want to use the word childish. It just has like it's very simple to look at, and you just take it in really easy.
It's very fluid. it's also in times very expressive. Like I low key think that there was some. I don't want to say that there was a influence in this, but I can. Well, I don't want to say he was like inspired by, it, but I definitely think that there is some sort of influence in this. There are like various panels where they use like oil paintings and stuff to like very expressive moments that I think are like so. They're mad reminiscent of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, they have that essence, that 90s cartoon essence, and it's really weird to like describe because this is an anime, but it does make you feel like you're watching it on a Saturday morning, that you can be whatever age and get this. And yeah, I don't know, it's really hard to describe. It almost seems like a Cartoon Network cartoon type of ordeal sometimes to me, not in a bad way, like in a really, really special, unique way for an anime.
No, I completely can see it that way as well. Like there's so many different things about this. I love it. I'm fully, I don't know. It's just, I was so drawn to it by the animation, just how different it was. And the first thing I was like, oh, this is kind of similar to One Punch Man. And yeah, they're kind of, but it also, you know what? It's also one of the reasons I like One Punch Man. I mean, I like Mob Psycho 100 like a million times better than One Punch Man.
Yeah, I agree.
They're able to take a simple concept and not really overdo it, but also add a very natural humor to the show that I don't think you get in like other. There's very little actual natural humor that makes me laugh, and it's a subtlety in this humor. It's like, huh, okay, like the shit he does like that, like where especially his relationship with Reagan, right? Like it's like
he's so nonchalant. He's just so nonchalant, and almost, I don't want to, almost carefree in a way.
Master said that I shouldn't do this, and I think yeah, okay. Oh, it's that.
Yeah. But it's perfect.
No, it's
for the character. I mean, that's what you need. It is a breath of fresh air, because for a main protagonist, you can compare. We can go on a binge and probably compare, protagonists from Jujutsu to My Hero to Hunter x Hunter to Full Metal, and we can find comparisons to all of them. But there's no one you can compare to Mob. I just don't. I mean, truly, like just his personality and how he is as like a main character, his energy is just different.
It's just different entirely. So the concept of the show is that obviously Mob is an Esper. He's trying to figure out how to use his psychic powers without not necessarily. It's not like he's on a journey to figure out, but he's just kind of navigating the world. And he has this. He's one of the most powerful Espers on Earth, and he just wants to be friends with this girl that he likes.
Yeah.
He just wants to be, he joins. I think society kind of just like happens around him, and also, communicates with him in various ways. Like he doesn't really go out seeking anything. He's not seek. The only
his circumstance. No, I'm just saying his circumstances they're not connected with training or like being the best. It's already in him. It's almost uncontrollable to a degree.
Let's talk about characters that aren't Mob.
Yeah, sure.
Is there any characters in this show that stands out to you?
I mean, in season 1, I mean, yeah, Tsubomi is, I think, a really great like girl figure for him. I think it's one of the best ones. Honestly, we talk a lot about, she's just here for this. What were we talking? Yu. Like not really doing anything. You're just there for that type of like unique feeling for like a female character for the main protagonist. But Tsubame to me is like, I mean, I don't know. She has importance.
I'm a big fan of Ritsu. I don't know. I just like their relationship with each other, because he's the younger brother of Mob, but he's taller than him.
He's like a big younger brother.
Yeah. It's like everybody hates Chris.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually looks up to Mob because of his psychic power, but then you find out that Mob also looks up to him because he just thinks he's like smart and always can figure out a situation and stuff like that, but neither can necessarily admit it because deep down Ritsu is kind of like he has this, I mean, it's labeled as this inferiority complex because of Mob's psychic powers. It's like, you know, God, I don't want to use this example. I'm not going to use it.
Why?
No, because it's wild graphic. It's like it's mad weird.
Oh, okay.
Like,
but I know what you're saying.
Right. You know, especially when using like inferiority complexes.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's envious of him, but he does. You know, he wants to kind of like learn about the psychic ability, and he eventually develops his own. I mean, it's brought out by what's my man name? Dimple. It's brought out by. And then from
because he's fairly weak with like telekinesis originally.
Yeah, I wonder where they get it from. But he, you know, he does his best, and there are, you know, very few moments with him, but it looks like he's developing into an evil thing. And then once again, I mean, he gets in contact with Mob, and Mob kind of changes his perspective, especially when he starts defending him against that member of Scar. Which we'll talk about probably in a little bit because you guys did an entire showdown episode about that fight.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Let's see. Reagan. I just like him. Everything he comes
his gimmick is great.
His gimmick is absolutely
it's phenomenal. Like, you know, it's perfect.
Yeah.
When you're getting this series going, those first 2-3 episodes, without him, I don't know if I get as drawn in. I really don't.
Nah, I agree with you because he adds this comedic effect to the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely where he's like, it's clearly that he's taking advantage of Mob, but it doesn't seem completely predatory.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it could be in any kind of situation, I think in other animes it's like, well, you know, why are you and you know, they explore that in season 2 if you want to, not necessarily predatory, but like they come to odds and qualms and stuff like that in season 2,
right?
But it's not, he's manipulating clients, but he doesn't really, it's not like predatory in a way, and he ends up saving Mob and wants to kind of like direct Mob in kind of ways. And my favorite, I mean, it's one of my favorite scenes of the show is towards the end of the show where he just walks into the evil guy's mansion and they're just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you I'm, you know, they think he's the boss, and then he walks through and then he's like talking to all the subordinates. It's like, are you kidnapping people? You realize that's a crime? Grow up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they let everyone go.
Mm-hmm.
He just adds this, like, he like cuts the tension of the show, especially as the tension was building up towards the end of this.
Yeah, seriously.
He cuts it. He adds another layer. It kind of, especially he takes it back to the essence of the actual show itself, which is like this slice of life comedy a little bit. I'm a big fan of Reagan just because he's just, I don't know.
He's funny. It works.
He owns his spirits consultation thing where he exercises spirits but could not exercise his spirit at all.
Yeah.
You know, he does what it is.
What about Dimple, man? How you feel about Dimple, man?
I was gonna ask you that.
I think we meet Dimple
or another.
It's such a weird. I mean, I know. Like I feel like series need something like this, but
you know, like the Great Gazoo, like you remember from like the nigga with the green helmet, and
yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I'm the Great Gazoo," and I'm gonna tell you, it's like, "All right, Gazoo, okay." One of those things, but I mean, I'm not. I like that I like his intro. I think he fits well within this cast.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't feel strongly one way or another about him in any kind of situation.
Bro got a plan.
I mean, he does. He got a plan. He wants to eventually take over a person so he can, use all his evil powers, and then he can never kind of really do it again after Mob defeats him.
Yeah. Real like SpongeBob versus Plankton situation, Seriously, like
that's hilarious as fuck. Let me see what else is out there in terms of characters. I mean, we're introduced to what's the fucking club?
Shout out, we got don't forget White Tea Poison.
White Tea Poison. Isn't that hard?
It's so hard, bruh. Like if it wasn't influenced by them franchise boys, I'd be very disappointed. But I'm pretty sure this came first. I don't know though.
I'm not sure why the franchise boys came first.
I'm not sure, bro. Hey, if White Tea Poison was influenced, then this is goated. Off top. White Tea Poison.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like it's I still got this thing running in the background. But the series is just so good, man. Like the way it's introduced. Like, all right, so let's talk about favorite moments of the series.
Sure.
Favorite moments, and one of them has to be that fight.
Yeah, Mob Koyama was obviously great. We spoke about it on Showdown. I think that was like peak animation too, and that's probably the one thing I do need to stop and talk about real quick is how we talked about the animation of it is simple. I think it is easy on the eyes. It's not like any other anime out there, but the things that they do when fights get serious, I think is just so underrated, which is why when Eric and I were talking about fighting scenes, we knew Mob Psycho had to get one because I think it's just not talked about enough. Like how beautiful the animation is and the sequences and how they make looking psychic abilities look. Like I'm not like a huge psychic Esper type of person. I think the most psychic stuff I'm into is like from Pokemon, so seeing it like this on a scale of the energy and the walls and the floors crumbling and bricks, and I mean it looks really, really good every time, and it's not talked about enough.
Nah, it really isn't, because it's one of the best fights that I've seen.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I hope it was nominated for best fight or something, because it is. I mean, I like all of the fights. I mean, this one was serious, and this one had a lot more stakes to it because their lives were truly threatened.
Right.
And it seemed like this maniac was going to kill him, so it forced Mob to really hone in on his powers, save the people that he loves, and to realize that, okay, maybe it's time to use
it. He had purpose.
Yeah, he had absolutely purpose to use this thing, because if you want to use it again, it's fucking ass kicked.
Yeah, because you can look at the fight with Teru, and it was different. He was just beating his ass for like 5-10 minutes. Mob didn't want to fight back. Obviously, we heard a little bit of the beginning of that scene or the middle of that sequence when we started the episode, and Mob going on, and that was deep. Like that makes the fight matter. Even though the stakes weren't as high, like you just spoke about with Koyama, but that just it added a different effect to that fight, and it gave it purpose. And then obviously, his hair gets cut off, and it's a little funny moment because he's so superficial. But yeah, it was just a really nice touch.
Let's listen to a little bit of this fight and hear it.
Burning in me.
He brought my hands to the ground. A brat like that. I can't get away.
That guy is finished. It's over. You attacked my brother and me unprovoked.
Yeah.
You did this to yourself, and now you're gonna pay for it. Don't you ever show your face in front of us again.
Telekinetic helix! What? How can it have no effect this time?
All right, I'm kind of sick. I listened to the audio because I feel like this is definitely for you to believe. But I mean, you can hear the kind of like everything was an impact, and this you can hear Mob truly get to this point where he's doing this now to defend his
Yeah.
family and stuff like that. He's
He wants
reached
to
this
fight.
point he's never really reached before.
Very pivotal moment in the season, honestly.
Absolutely, the organization. I mean, in the second half of the series, the terrorist organization known as Claw. They recruited espers to strengthen themselves and plan to overthrow the government. So they initially wanted to capture Shigeo, which is Mob. However, they mistook him for his brother, who was Ritsu, and they eventually capture Ritsu. So now Mob has to join forces with Teruki Hanazawa, who you just fought early in this series, save them, and they go in their plan, and it's relatively simple for them. They're still like great fights, but they're just comedic because none of them stand against Mob at all. And there's moments like where one of the villains come up to Mob in the hallway, and Mob just kind of like, I don't have time for this. He just bounces him across. I didn't think that would be that loud. Sorry. But
Such a sweetheart.
I love the dub for this, man.
Yeah, but we don't speak Japanese, but I just feel like it just hits different the dub is good. The dub is so good just off of like his voice.
Yeah, like they understood the mission. They
the
understood
assignment. Yeah.
They understood the assignment absolutely once completely. And I'm trying to look up the dub actor right now, voice actor Kyle McCarley. Okay, let's look up what he's done. Okay, just to see. So Mob Psycho 100, obviously done 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah, it does sound really familiar.
Mark and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Claudia and Violet Evergarden, Iruka and Naruto Shippuden. Oh, do you know who Pariston Hill is in Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah. Pariston is like he's post, Gon and Killua were going their separate ways. So you get a lot more of him and what's happening in the manga right now. But yeah. He's one of the Zodiacs.
Okay. He does Yushiro. Oh, this is definitely where I get it from. Yushiro in Demon Slayer. So Yushiro is the guy who's always with Lady Tamio.
Oh shit.
That
Yeah. That's a trip, dude.
It's a little more, I guess I wouldn't say tough, but a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Wow, he's done a lot of things. Good for this. Listen.
Yeah, y'all here, man. Hey, he did a great job with Mob, so I'm not surprised.
Absolutely. But it's this is an amazing series. I think just going back and enjoying Mob Psycho 100 and even watching towards the end, this is a great binge series. It's to just have on. You don't even need to be in the room all the time, but you can have it on. You can come back and you kind of still get the general feel of where this show is headed. And I mean, I want to watch season 2 now.
Yeah.
I didn't even bounce into season 2, but we have another thing that we need to cover, which probably requires a lot more of my time.
Just a little bit.
But season 3 is coming out.
It is. It's been a minute.
Season 3 is scheduled. Let me see if they even have a date for this damn thing.
That's the one thing I need the community to work on. I feel like we've been getting our way a little bit these past few years. Things have kind of done better with like knowing what's happening, but man, release dates. Jesus Christ, man. Should be the worst.
So it's coming out in October. That's the best that we've got. October 2022, which is, to be honest with you, I guess better than nothing, right?
Sure.
Because Chainsaw Man is still coming this year.
Yeah. We should know soon.
We should know soon. I'm interested in kind of seeing what they will cover. I'm interested in seeing if this is going to be a lot more of an original kind of adventure. I'm interested to see if they add in some filler. They explore. I'm pretty sure. I think there was still some stuff they didn't finish in the. I mean, the manga's finished, or at least the webcomic, wherever the hell it is. It's finished. So I feel like there's still stuff they can explore.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they will go in that direction. But season 3, man, listen, I'm excited for this.
Really
thing.
excited. Really excited, bro. It's a wonderful series. It really
and
is.
you know, the people clamored for it, which is the best thing about it, because it was more that we had no idea when season 3 was coming, and to be honest, they haven't produced a season since I believe 2017.
Yeah.
So no, 2019. I'm bugging. So a new episode hasn't arrived since 2019, but there's always been clamoring of like, yo, we want more Mob Psycho 100. And I think, I don't know if it's just basically like the popularity of like, you know, all these streaming sites now, and you know, Crunchyroll doing this thing and stuff like that.
They're like, yo, I know it's out there. We know the money and the resources are there.
Yeah.
So
Like,
give it to us.
So yeah, people want it and they're being given to it, and I think it's going to do great on wherever it's streaming from, which I'm assuming is Crunchyroll. It's going to do great wherever the hell it is, but yeah, Mob Psycho, man. Mob Psycho.
Check it out. I feel like this is one of those animes where if I was trying to get somebody onto anime, this is definitely one that they haven't seen, or maybe oddly enough, not even heard of. You know, so I think it's like important that we did this and talked about this series, because yes, the people who watch anime and know how the culture works knows about this series, but I think it could be really, really special if it had more voices like us talking about it, especially with season 3 coming out. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the series.
Okay, so boom. After this episode, I mean, we have 2 more things to get into before summer is over. First of all, I also want to give a shout out to the Big Eyes podcast, which ended, formally ended. I'm still distraught. Half of me still doesn't like it.
Yeah, Jamal told me on the fly, like randomly, like I don't even think we were texting, and he just like, you know, he just told me. I was like, oh, okay.
But we're working on new things.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a little bit of reincarnation. It's not necessarily the death of something and it stays dead. It's only the birth of something new.
Yeah.
So working on new things. But listen, man, you might have to tap into some manga from time to time.
Time to time, bro. You know, might have to jump in. You know, I'm all in. Obviously, I would love to. I'm still tapping in every Sunday, sometimes Friday.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, I want to give a shout out to the Big Eyes podcast because they've done. You know what was crazy? I was anticipating the day that, because they're weekly and we show up weekly from time to time. We generally seasons, but we just stopped calling it seasons. We'd probably be in like season 11 by now. But I was anticipating the day that they would cross us in the amount of episodes because it was coming. They're close to us.
Yeah.
They ended on episode like 120, and we're on episode 127. No doubt in my mind they would have caught up to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Now they can never catch up to us.
Yeah, they would have caught up to us literally while we were still trying to finish being, you know, at Kame House.
Listen, but
it's okay. It's okay.
I look forward to it. You know, you can still share your thoughts on the latest manga and stuff. You can still follow us at the Lookout. You can still share it with Jabal and AD, and
absolutely,
and none of them are going away. It's just something new, you know.
Absolutely.
But with that said, the next series we have at Samurai Kame House. It's your pick, Jeff.
Yeah. Tokyo Ghoul.
I have not seen this. I still have not seen this. I didn't even yet.
Season 1 is perfect to me. So, you know, I didn't want to really go too much further. Season 2 is really good too, but after that it just falls. So I didn't want you to like be too invested with the series. But season 1 is great, and it's horror and it's bloody and it's disgusting. But it's awesome. It is. It's nothing like we've ever spoken about for sure.
People have not been. The only thing I know about this series is people do not like season 2.
Yeah, season 2. The first half is cool, but it kind of just falls into like the shadow realm. So Yeah,
Season 1 is highly acclaimed. Season 2.
is.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Should I even, along with these 12 episodes that I'm no doubt going to watch in a relatively short period of time, should I also tap into? Should I take a look at? Have you read the manga? How about that?
Yeah. I own quite a few, but the manga flips as well, and that it's later. But the thing is, they don't follow it properly. It's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
similar to what happened to Promised Neverland.
Land.
So
Yeah,
the anime completely fell off because nobody was interested anymore in what was going on. That's why season 1 is so good and special. It's very similar to Promised Neverland, actually, this conversation, but yeah. It's weird, but we'll talk about it. Tokyo Ghoul is great, though. Season 1 is great.
I'm looking forward to this. I've never seen it. This is something where it's like the second. It's like after Full Metal Alchemist, you recommended that I watch this.
Yeah, Kaneki is a great protagonist, and he has a great story. So I think you'll like it. But yeah, it's bloody.
So I'm looking forward to watching this. But I also say this that we have 2 series up next because the second one might take a little bit of time. So I don't know when the last time you watched Tokyo Ghoul was. When was the last time you watched Tokyo?
Me?
It's
been a minute, at least 3 years.
Okay,
at least.
All right. So
like season 1, yeah, it's been at least 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, we definitely watching this then together. The series after that is very highly.
yeah.
This is the highly anticipated. This is similar to our Naruto episode last year of highly anticipated. This is kind of our first time diving into One Piece.
Yeah, seriously, at least.
Seriously, One Piece, the East Blue Saga. It is I think it's about 48 or 60 episodes or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Either way, it's on Netflix. If you got Netflix, hit the 1.25 and kind of like
just
out.
Go for it.
While out, it's like if you just like the voice actors, but their voices are a little bit high pitched and they're moving a little bit faster. I recommend the 1.25 on the series and kind of while out on it. But we're gonna cover that at the end of August, and then that'll be the end of summer at Kame House. We have some interesting things planned for the fall. I'm hoping we get everything that we want. I hope we can get to kind of make this happen, because I would love to explore something new for the fall, something that we've done before but we have not done consistently, and that's kind of like just ideally just telling the stories of people within the anime community. Right. So I would love to do that in the fall. So, but we gotta get through the summer first. Yeah, we gotta get through the summer first.
Gotta get through the summer.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, this is the Lookout RNC on Twitter.
Yes.
Follow myself at Meelz TV. You can follow Jeff at Old Newsboy.
Yeah.
You can continue to support great manga, continue to support great anime. Let us know what you think of Mob Psycho 100.
If you've never seen it, watch it. Hopefully this makes you want to watch it. That'd be awesome too.
I'm always very strange of people who have never watched an anime listen to this thing first.
Hey man, I know they exist.
I know they exist.
They definitely exist.
Sure. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. And yeah, we will be back in 2 weeks with Tokyo Ghoul on the lookout. Take care.